everyone, and welcome back to another Stock Trek Saturday with me, Stock Trek Girl. So much has happened since last Rocket Lab Saturday video that I did that I'm basically going to touch base on some interesting things. And as far as the upcoming mission, you will have to wait and see what I have in store for you. So in this video, I'm going to be going over their last earnings report they released, some key elements that I found in the earnings report that I thought were of interest or even of concern in regards to Rocket Lab stock. Another couple other things that we're going to address is some of their key companies that they have that I think is going to rocket this stock into the future, and as well as some upcoming catalysts. So join me as we go check out some more Rocket Lab goodness. So let's go ahead and get into the Rocket Lab earnings. Now, Rocket Lab basically, their revenue, as we know, was not as great as the prior quarter. So to throw out some numbers, their revenue for the first quarter of 2022 was $40.7 million. So $40.7 million first quarter of this year, whereas last year in their fourth quarter, they pulled a whopping $62.2 million. So yes, we did have a bit of a drop, but the year-over-year growth from the first quarter of 2021 to the same quarter here in 2022, we did see some positive growth in the year-over-year. So that is good news. In fact, we saw exactly 124% year-over-year growth. So that is amazing. Over 100% year-over-year growth for that particular quarter. I'm excited to see that. I like seeing growth like that. Do I like seeing kind of the dissipating quarter after quarter? Not really, but that's to be expected. I do think that in the fourth quarter, of this year, we're going to see a bump up because their fourth quarter, they tend to do a lot more. So we have a lot going on in the fourth quarter. Remember, fourth quarter of 2022, they're expecting to open up Wallops Island. While I think it won't really, get up and going until 2023. That's my personal opinion. But let's say they do get it up and running in, 2022 in December. That's going to be great news for us as well as the stock. So have to keep an eye on that. Now, here's another interesting tidbit. The space systems made up the bulk of their revenue this past quarter. So space systems made up over 84% of that revenue. Whew, it's a good thing they have space systems, because if we were only solely relying on launches, we wouldn't have much revenue now, would we? But basically, I'm liking where Rocket Lab is going with this, because space is like the gold rush, okay? Remember back when in the US in the good old frontier days when there was that California gold rush, and you know who made a lot of money? Sure, some of the gold diggers struck big and some of them went out there and they didn't find a thing. But you know who was sure to make money? The people selling the picks and shovels to the gold diggers made money no matter what, because everybody needed picks and shovels that was going out there looking for the gold, even though they may not ever find gold for themselves. They were the risk takers, but Rocket Lab is selling picks and shovels to the other people in the space industry. So I give Rocket Lab a big pat on the back there. You cannot go wrong with the pick and shovel economics of, selling space systems to the other space companies that are out there. I mean, they've sold stuff, with Firefly and NASA and everywhere with these space systems. Their separation systems that they have when they acquired the Planetary Systems Corporation. not to mention all their flight software, Advanced Solutions Inc. All their acquisitions are finally coming together to form their pick and shovel way of going around things. And because of this pick and shovel, whenever there is a dry season, when it comes to launches, they're still making money. They're still making good revenue. So this is great news to see the space systems revenue is up all the way to 84%. Wow, but do I want to see more launches? You bet I do. And I'm looking so forward to this upcoming Lunar Capstone mission. More into that later on. So let's go ahead, move forth more on this earnings report that they last did. So going into their backlog, I mentioned before, I'm very interested to see how much their backlog has grown since the last time, because the last time it was a huge leap, right? The last time we checked their backlog at the fourth quarter of 2021, they were standing at about 546 million in backlog. So we went from 546 million in backlog from the fourth quarter to the first quarter of 2022. They now have 551 million in backlog. So I'm gonna be honest with you, little bit disappointed that we didn't get more into the backlog. I mean, they're already backed up, so I guess, you know, we can't put too much onto them. But it not even about 1% increase. So a small increase in the backlog. But then again, think about it. They don't want to get too backed up. They already have a lot they have to catch up on. There's a lot of future launches out there that they have to be prepared for. So let's not pile on too much. So the backlog didn't grow that much, you know, again, slightly disappointed, but then slightly not, because maybe it's a good thing. We don't want them to be too backed up. However, there are a lot of exciting launches coming up already in that 551 million backlog. So yay! Also, they officially closed on their acquisition for Sol Aero Technologies, and that is phenomenally important. I feel like it doesn't get spoken about enough, or even while it is mentioned, I think a lot of you really need to grasp how important this is. This is part of their picks and shovels, okay? Sol Aero, they're coming up with the world's leading solar cells, okay? These solar cells are going to be so thin and so flexible, it is going to reduce the weight of the craft that they're going on. Not only that, but they're going to outperform all the other stuff that's out there, okay? So this is really important for having energy out in deep space. These solar cells are going to do that. And again, they are just finally closing. Everything's a done deal. And they're looking to release the commercial sale of these new solar cells at the end of this year. So imagine the revenue that that's going to bring in. On top of the increased launch cadences and everything opened up, okay, it might not all sink in by the end of 2022, but let me tell you what, 2023 is going to be a really fun year. So much is going to be going on in 2023 between the launches, you know, hopefully NAV2 and Wallops Island and all that will be set up. Their flight software with NAV2 will be, you know, no glitches there. Everything will be good moving forward. And so while this quarter may look like a bit of a disappointment, obviously the stock reacted a little bit. It wasn't like, woo, it wasn't great. It kind of flopped down. It went pretty down. We were in the fours for a while. We hit the 4 territory, you know, may the 4th be with you. Lord, yes, we know that the 4s were brutal, I know. But here we are, and I'm going to go more into the stock analysis later on in the video. But yes, we did have a bit of a brutal last couple weeks. Part of it was the market. Part of it, I think, was the lackluster revenue compared to the last quarter. But again, this is a temporary blip, and everything will be, you know, going much smoothly by the end of this year. Going into next year, 2023, I think will be phenomenal. So hold on for 2023. Let's talk about Colorado. A lot is happening in Colorado with Rocket Lab, right? They're expanding their space systems footprint in Colorado, building out this huge facility, okay, that's already next to their Advanced Solutions Inc. 15,000 square foot facility, right? They're hiring all these people for their space systems, their guidance and navigation software services, all that stuff. This is going to be big stuff. And Colorado's got a lot going on if you think about it. There's a lot going on in Colorado. A lot of space stuff, if you know what I mean. I mean, think about it. You know, you have Colonel O'Neill, you have Teal'c, you have Daniel, and you know, Carter. You have the whole SG-1 team at Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado with Rocket Lab. In order to get that joke, you guys had to have seen the TV series Stargate SG-1. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But to get back to the point, they're doing a lot in Colorado. And I'm excited. And you know, I don't think Colorado gets talked out about much either. So many people are focused on Mahia, you know, in New Zealand, or they're focused on, you know, even me included, Wallops Island in Virginia, waiting for that to get started. But, you know, taking the focus onto Colorado, because seriously, 84% of their revenue was made from space systems, and a lot of places in Colorado is where things are getting built, or where, you know, they're basically controlling everything. A lot of stuff is being done in Colorado. So let's keep our eyes on the lookout in Colorado, because a lot is happening there. In fact, they are tripling their capacity in Colorado. Yeah, not doubling, they're tripling, right? So this is a big deal. Apparently, Rocket Lab thinks Colorado is the place for the next big space footprint. So obviously, Stargate SG-1 had something right when they put space and Colorado hand in hand together. Okay, and as you know, the Lunar Capstone has arrived in the facility in New Zealand. They had their wet dress rehearsal and they are ready for showtime. As am I. I am wearing my To the Moon shirt. I am ready to go to the moon. I'm ready to see the stock go to the moon. Well, you know, I can't guarantee the stock's going to go to the moon simply because this market has just been awash lately. I do know that this is the stock to hold on to, because in years down the road, we are going to be going to the moon as well. So that's definitely why you want to hold on to this stock, keep your diamond hands, and you know, the stock has so much going for it as far as the company, the CEO, you know, all their acquisitions and their products that they're offering. If you've seen the valuation of SpaceX, it is...
All right, let's stick with space, because Elon Musk's SpaceX reportedly eyeing a sky-high valuation. We have Pras Subramanian here with the details. And Pras, we say sky-high, to be exact, $125 billion, supposedly.
$125 billion. You know, SpaceX is a very successful company, one of the few private companies actually making worth more now in this day and age where the markets have been sort of like a little bit wavering. I could see why it's a kind of a good time maybe to do this tender offer to raise some money.
Billions, right? So imagine Rocket Lab being like a baby SpaceX. I'm not saying it's at the point of SpaceX, but you know, they are in a sense like a little baby SpaceX, and they're growing, and one day they're going to be doing way big things, especially when they get Neutron. So keep in mind that this is a long-term investment. You know, when you're seeing the stock, your beloved stock, dropping and plummeting all the way into the fours, you know, and it's not even like, gosh, what would Yoda tell you, you know? And I know the fours are with us, but, you know, I'm sure Yoda would say, you know, hold on tight. So yeah, a lot has happened with the stock, but I'm not deterred. You shouldn't be deterred either. If anything, you either hold, you maintain, or you buy. That's the way I'm saying it. So just ride it out. This might be a rough economic, you know, move for the markets, but in the long run, it eventually recovers. It eventually corrects itself. We know the market has its ups and downs. It's the market, you know, same thing, different day, right? So just keep that in mind, and let's go check out the latest stock price. Okay, and here we have our Rocket Lab stock chart. As you can see, Gotta love this $5 even, right? I mean, it's just right on the dot. We had a really good close the past market day. We were up 7.30%. That's pretty good considering, remember earnings right here. Look at this. This was our earnings day. And then look at this selling pressure that happened after earnings day. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. That 5.32 million volume on selling. That was such a big candle there, which brought us down and dragged us even further into the fours to meet Baby Yoda. And may the fourth be with us, but hopefully not with us too long. And then we bounce back up in anticipation for the upcoming Lunar Capstone mission, because apparently all of you saw this as a great buying opportunity right in here, right when we got in these bottom fours, hopefully never to see threes. But that's when people started buying in again, prepping up for this next launch, I'm sure. Do I think that this is, going to stay up? I don't know. Honestly, it could come back down before it bounces back up again and form a W. That's kind of my theory. Probably come back down a little bit before going back up, especially if there is any delays in this launch. I know right now we're looking at around June 6th, but if they delay it a little bit, it could maybe come back down a little bit before bouncing back up. Hopefully breaking this here. Again, we need to get back to the sixes. We need to come back to the six. We have just been in a waterfall landslide coming down. So I would love to see us recoup. It might take a while before we really hit recovery zone in the sixes, but who knows? Maybe a Lunar Capstone, maybe better news ahead next quarter or the end of the year could bring us back and help us retrace back up and reclaim the 6s, 7s, 8s, who knows, maybe 9s and 10s down the road. So we will have to see. But until then, that was a really nice market close. We're at least out of the fours, and just, a heads up, if there is any delays, now would be a good time to grab a couple more shares if it delays and falls back into the fours. So keep an eye if this comes back down before it bounces. So that's my take on our stock price so far. Again, it is the market. Market's been crazy. Could go lower, but I'm praying that we never see threes. Now, this next mission, the Lunar Capstone, is very, very special. I've been waiting for this mission for a long time. And to commemorate this mission, I will be launching and releasing a special video solely just about this Lunar Capstone mission. So it's not going to be a regular Rocket Lab Saturday video. It is just going to be a special video solely for this particular launch, this particular mission. So be sure to keep your eyes on the lookout for that. And if you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you will not miss this new upcoming video that I have coming out about their next upcoming mission to the moon, this historical mission, first time ever, and they are going to the moon. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And I hope all of you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your time off with your family. Let us be thankful for the freedoms that we have. And let's remember what this day is really about. Not just about cookouts and, hot dogs and hamburgers for all you Americans, but, it's about all the people that served our country so we can have those cookouts. So always remember that. Also be sure to follow me on Twitter under the handle StockTrekGirl, where you can interact with me as well as other Rocket Lab and Space Stock fans. And as always, until next time, invest long and prosper.